My name's Cameron Zadigan and you're watching another television review on Cam's Camera Talk. Today's show is The Flash, Season 2, Episode 3. Spoilers ahead. So one of the first things that happens in this episode that is interesting is that we find a breach in the basement of Star Labs to Earth 2. So Jay Garrick and the gang, they go down and look into it and they try and get through to this other Earth, but it turns out that even a speedster can't. They describe it as like being a door with a hallway in between leading to another door, and the only way to get through to the other Earth is to allow themselves passage along this hallway. So that's basically Jay Garrick's role in this episode. He wants to find a path to get to Earth 2. It was a little bit slow, but it's necessary for the season as we continue on. Obviously, they'll have to sort out these two worlds and get in between them, so it's a big part in Season 2, so it needed to be done. Joe had quite a big story in this, in the fact that his ex-wife comes back to town in Francine, and she wants to meet Iris, and he has a bit of a conflicting issue because he told Iris and everyone else that she was dead, when really she was just a drug addict. If I'm being completely honest, this was a little bit of a sort of dragging segment for me. I just kind of wanted them to get back to the Rogues whenever these came on, but it's necessary because obviously we need to know about Francine for when we get Wally West. There's obviously going to be something sort of secret hidden about Wally West, but we need to learn more about this Francine character before we can be introduced to him. We get to see a little bit more of Patty and Barry Allen in this, and it was fun to see them two interact. I mean, they're both a little bit awkward. Patty does remind me a little bit of Felicity Smoke. She's just not as awkward though. But I think she's a good character. She's going to be good for Season 2. But I mean, come on, let's just be honest. How can you not love looking at her? So the big story in this episode involving the Flash was involving the Rogues as well. Linda Snart, she comes back and asks Barry and Cisco for help. She says that her brother has been kidnapped. It turned out that he has been sort of kidnapped by his dad. His dad is making Leonard Snart do these bad things because he'll kill Linda Snart if he doesn't help him. It was nice to see Captain Cold back, and you see them just paving the way now for him actually becoming a hero. I really like Wentworth Miller's take on the character, and I thought he did a good job in this episode. It really showed a human side to not just him, but his sister Linda Snart as well. You really start to empathise with these characters, and you really started to feel for them on a human level. I mean, this was a pretty dark episode. You got to bear in mind that The Flash is sort of the light-hearted fun show of sort of all the TV shows. So to see them deal with drug addiction, or to see them deal with an abusive father, or to see someone's head explode, you know, this is really quite different grounds from what The Flash has covered so far. Also, Snart's dad putting the bomb in the head of that guy kind of reminded me a little bit of the Suicide Squad. Anyway, Snart's dad wants Leonard Snart to help him rob a bank, and the sort of the big tension there, it comes towards the end. Cisco's trying to remove the bomb, but Leonard Snart's dad puts him in a sort of awkward predicament. Flash is standing in front of him, Barry Allen, who he knows, and Leonard Snart's dad tells him to kill Barry Allen, kill the Flash, or I'll kill your sister. So he's put in a hard predicament, but it shows that Captain Cold isn't an evil guy because he didn't pull the trigger. He waited. He had faith in Cisco and what the Flash were doing. It was a good scene that as well. It built up the tension, you know. If I was sitting on a seat, I'll be on the edge of it. So yeah, as you can imagine, Cisco removes the bomb and she is safe. So then Cold turns the gun on his dad and kills him. This shows the strength of hatred that he had for his father, and it's understandable from what Linda Snart told us earlier in the episode. It was a really good episode for Captain Cold and the Golden Glider. We learnt a lot about their characters. We saw a human side. We started to empathise with them. And obviously with Legends of Tomorrow coming up, when that starts, Captain Cold has to be a good guy. So we need to be rooting for him, and we already are, I think, at this stage now. It's really hard to explain, but Barry Allen and Leonard Snart have this weird bromance, like the weirdest bromance ever, in the fact that they are friends. They are friends. They went through a lot together in Season 1, and they sort of bonded in the weirdest way ever, but them two having relationships, which is of course Grant Gustin and Wentworth Miller as actors, they have this chemistry which just works when they're on screen. They interact with each other so well, they complement each other's acting styles. I do really enjoy seeing these two characters interact. At the end of the episode, Jay Garrick fixes the breach to Earth 2, but he has a little bit of a romance thing going on with Caitlin, so they convince him to stay, and he does, and he says that he's going to stay and help out with Zoom. So it looks like we're going to have Teddy Sears as Jay Garrick for at least the majority of Season 2 as they try and take down Zoom. I think it's a good thing. I think he's a good character. A little bit slow in this episode, his segments, but necessary for the season as a whole. Martin Stein was acting a little bit strange in this episode. He collapsed at the end of the last episode, and we see repercussions of this right at the very end. He combusts and then he collapses. So it shows that he still has a firestorm mentality in him, but he does need that other half to stabilise it. So I imagine we're probably going to get Jason Rush to come in sometime soon. I'm not sure if they're going to use the same actor that they used in Season 1. I'm not sure that they're going to sort of bring him in next week or the week after. I'm not sure when that's happening. But I imagine that's the way they're going with it, because Firestorm is a two-man superhero. Anyway, the big thing at the end, the post-title reveal, showed that someone has come through the breach to our world. And who is it? Harrison Wells. He's back in Earth 1. He's back in our Earth. They sort of made it look like he may have been a little bit shifting. He may have been there for a bad reason. But I'm still holding on to the principle that is Earth 2's Harrison Wells. That's the good guy, the scientist Harrison Wells, and I believe that he's probably come through the breach to our world to help our team as Harrison Wells. I don't think he's going to be a supervillain. I don't think he's going to be the Reverse Flash. I don't think he's going to be Zoom. But that's just personal opinion at the minute. He may just be a supervillain. He did it so well the first time around, I actually wouldn't be annoyed if he was Zoom. Usually if you were to cast the same guy playing the bad guy in two different roles, I'd be against that. But Tom Cavanaugh did such a good thing with the Reverse Flash that I'd actually be for it. This episode was pretty good, but it was building up. It was building up Season 2 and it was building up Legends of Tomorrow. You can see in the episodes of The Flash and Arrow that we've had so far is that they've had this sort of underwhelming theme that they need to set up Legends of Tomorrow. They need to get that sorted by the time it rolls around. Anyway, I hope you've liked what I've brought for you today. If you have, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter at Cam's Camera Talk. There's a link in the description below. Thank you for watching and I will see you later. Someone was there to oppose Barry Allen so that he could learn something new, but it was more about the characters and them growing